G'day, welcome back to the Bit Talk Show. Today we're going to talk about pricing everything in Bitcoin. So forget pricing everything in dollars or euros or yen or however you price it in your currency. Start pricing everything in Bitcoin. It will change your time preference naturally without even having to read the Bitcoin standard. If you do read that, you'll learn about low time preference and high time preference. You might ask yourself, why do you want to start pricing stuff in Bitcoin instead of dollars? That's just the natural thing. Everyone prices the Bitcoin in is dollars. Think of it this way. There's a great meme, I could say, where a house is priced at $250,000 for 660 Bitcoin in 2020. And then, I think it was 2016. Yeah, 2016. And then in 2020, that same house was worth $350,000 and it was priced at 66 Bitcoin. Then in 2024, the house is priced at $450,000 for 6.6 Bitcoin. Now, what would you rather hold on to? The house or the Bitcoin? Does pricing things in Bitcoin then make sense? For me, that simple picture says it all. Now, where's it going to be in another 4 years? In 2028, 2032? Is it going to be 0.6 Bitcoin per house? Then 0.06 Bitcoin per house? Maybe. Depending on where the price is, of course. But again, that's where everyone's thinking, I price Bitcoin in dollars. I don't price objects, things, or they don't have a base reference point apart from the dollar. They just use the dollar to price the Bitcoin. Price it against gold. And it's like, gold's like a flat line and Bitcoin is virtually vertical. Price it in housing. Price it in the S&P. Start pricing things in Bitcoin instead of pricing Bitcoin in dollars, and it will change your mind and perspective about Bitcoin. It changes your spending habits as well. So this is the thing about Bitcoin that a lot of people miss, and once you dive down the rabbit hole, it changes you as a person. A simple example, I would like a new computer right now, new laptop. But you know what? I don't really need it. So I'm going to put it off. Why? Because the longer I wait, the more Bitcoin I can hold. The more Bitcoin I can hold in the future, as in, let's say I sell 1 million sats now for a laptop, where in 4 years I might only have to sell 100,000 sats and then I keep the 900,000. That's just a rough estimate. But think about it like that. Think about it, the longer you wait, the more sats you're going to have, the more wealth you're going to have. And generally, the thing you buy in 2, 3, 4 years is going to be better. A computer in 4 years, even in 2 years, is going to be faster, more storage, better screen. It'll just be better. Now, Moore's laws helps with this in the computer and technology field either way. And pricing things in Bitcoin isn't it just about the big things? It's about the smaller things. It's about coffee. It's about your day-to-day spending. For example, I'm about to go to a petrol station and buy coffee on the way to work because it's about half the price of a coffee at work. Now, you could also say, well, why don't you just make a coffee at home before you leave? And generally I do. But going on to night shift, I need a real coffee, not a instant dry coffee that doesn't hit the spot. And look, pricing things in Bitcoin will help you hold for longer. Now, if you don't want to sell, that's fine. I spoke about, I think in my first video, about I'm not selling Bitcoin anymore. I'm only going to borrow against it. I took that to not an extreme, but earlier in the year, before I was borrowing against my Bitcoin, I would take out a credit card, for example, at a low interest rate, say 12%, instead of selling my Bitcoin. I looked at it as Bitcoin's going up 20 to 30% a year. 2025 will be a great year for Bitcoin. Why sell the start of 2025 when I know where it's going? Not that you know where it's going. No one has the real crystal ball. But the bull market is definitely been in 2025. Why sell? So yeah, that's how much I didn't want to sell Bitcoin. And this is before I really dove into Aave and borrowing against my Bitcoin. What I spoke about in my first video, I haven't done the big borrow yet to pay off some debt and give myself a little lifestyle chips. Done a tiny bit, but it's Christmas coming up, and I remember years ago I sold some Bitcoin for Christmas, and that back then has cost me probably 10 Christmases worth of gifts. So again, time preference. If I had borrowed against my Bitcoin all those years ago, yeah, I would still have most of it. Alright, coffee's loaded up, we're good to go. So yeah, start pricing stuff in Bitcoin. It'll change your perspective. Another example, middle of the year, I needed a new car. Family's getting bigger, and car was dying. So said to myself, well, if I outlay big down payment for the car, that's going to come out of Bitcoin, and that's a bad time to do it. Other option was a lease, and I thought, well, that's the lowest. That's going to hold. I'm going to be able to hold on to Bitcoin right now, and it's going to be the lowest monthly cost of any other option I had. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I went with whatever the lowest cost was per month, so I could hold more Bitcoin, and that's what I did. There was good tax incentives as well to get an electric car, so that's what I got. And yeah, getting an electric car, a Tesla, ended up being actually cheaper than a cheaper petrol-powered car. So it was a no-brainer. Now you might say, well, why didn't you just go out and buy a bomb? 5-8-year-old cheap car, so you could hold even more sats. Well, yeah, there's that argument. But I wanted a long-term, reliable car that I didn't have to worry about anything for the next 10-15 years, especially mechanical-wise. I always had something going on with my last car, and I just didn't want the headaches anymore. An electric car just has an electric motor with like 50 moving parts or something, so yeah, what could go wrong? Anyway, you might be a Tesla fan, you might not be. It's completely up to you, but it's been flawless. I just want to say to the 50 odd people that subscribed, thank you very much. I wasn't expecting any. Wasn't even expecting any views. So I'm deeply appreciative. I haven't read all the comments yet. There's quite a lot. In my first video, I did over 1,000 views already. I can't believe that either. So I will get through to them. But I just want to say a quick thank you to all those people. Comment-wise, I don't care if you leave a good comment or a bad comment or whatever. I'm happy for everyone's opinion. Everyone should have their say. I take criticism very well. So yeah, criticize away, please. Whether you think me getting credit cards to not sell Bitcoin is crazy, let me know. There might be other people out there doing it. There might be other people out there not doing it. There's another YouTuber, which I sort of got a bit of inspiration from to even start this. His channel's called The Road to 1 Bitcoin. He's a very humble guy, just stacking sats on his road to 1 Bitcoin. I love his journey. I love his theme. It's really cool little channel. Yeah, you should follow him. I looked at him and I thought, I'm sort of doing that, but in a different way, in a leveraged way. I figured if the bank can print some money, then I'm going to take advantage of it and borrow their money to get more Bitcoin instead of being the very humble, slow stacker. Now, there's nothing wrong with humbly stacking sats. That's probably the best way to go about it. I just wanted to kickstart my journey because I had felt I had missed it. I think everyone does when they get into Bitcoin. Everyone thinks they're too late. Now, everyone's going to say you're never too late. And in a way, that's true. As long as you start. But I found myself in a place where I felt like we were coming to the end. Excuse me. We were coming to the end of the bear market, and I wanted to take full advantage of the next bull. So I leveraged myself. Now, I never planned to really hold the leverage long term. I always knew that all the Bitcoin I buy wasn't always really mine. But when I give the bank back their money, I get to keep the bonus. I get to keep the knowledge and the hard work that I've put into learning about Bitcoin. In earlier videos, I said hodling is hard, hodling is work, just like Bitcoin, and it's proof of work. I consider the same thing. If I've done the hard work, I should be rewarded. So yeah, that was my strategy. People do it all the time. They just do it in different ways. They might leverage on an exchange and hold it on an exchange. I guess that's another way to do it. I could have done it that way, but then I wouldn't have any custody of the Bitcoin. It would all be on an exchange. And if it was on the big one, like Binance, they love to put in a big red candle in a second and wipe out their leverage people. So their leverage customers. And I didn't want to be one of those. FTX already burnt me. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to leverage the banking system. I'm going to borrow their money. I'm going to buy the Bitcoin. I'm going to take control. And if everything turns to SHIT, then at least I've still got that in my own custody. But so far, it's been working. The other thing is, I had to know that I could pay the burn rate, pay the repayments, and it's been okay. But it's when things go out of your spending corridor that can affect you. And that's when I've had to sell some of my Bitcoin at far earlier prices, far lower prices than I really wanted to. For example, a holiday earlier in the year. That's why I spoke about it in another video, using Aave to borrow. Should have done that, but didn't think about it. Now it's different. And that's something you'll come across on your journey. things will always pop up. You feel like you're in a rut, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to just go outside and touch the grass and go for a walk and not look at the Bitcoin chart for a week or 2 weeks or a month. Don't open Bitcoin Twitter. Don't do nothing. Sometimes it's really hard to do literally nothing in the Bitcoin space. If you're going to do anything, sit and read a book. But don't look at price. Don't look at anything else. Don't look at what's going on with the core developers and version 30. Don't look at what's going on with the knots and the battle between version 30 and the Bitcoin core developers. Don't look at any of it. It's all just noise in the long term. Try and keep yourself centered. Try and keep yourself laser focused. Laser focus is what will get you there in the long run. You need to look at 10 years. You need to look at 10, 15 years. I'm already looking at, can I retire in 15 years? And again, when I talk about 15 years to retirement, I'm mid-30s now, is even paying back the banks for the Bitcoin I bought, is it worth it? Or should I just continue to pay down the banks and not sell the Bitcoin at all? Or, like I've been talking about, borrowing against it. So these things you're always double questioning yourself about, double checking. You're always saying, should I borrow against it? Should I sell it? Should I do this? Should I do that? It gets overwhelming sometimes. Definitely causes stress levels to go up. Maybe because I am leveraged. I see the gentleman in the Road to One Bitcoin not stressed, and I see that maybe the humble way is and was the way to go. But at any time, I can wipe it. I can wipe the debt at any point I want to, because I hold the asset. That's comforting to know. And when the price is high, it's even more comforting, because you know you can sell a lot less to wipe that leverage. But anyway, to the core point of this video is change your time preference. Change your spending habits, which will change your time preference. Price stuff in Bitcoin. Just give it a shot. Price your house in Bitcoin. Price your car in Bitcoin. Price your new car in Bitcoin. Price your coffee in Bitcoin. And see if your perspective changes. Thanks very much for watching. For those that subscribe, I appreciate it. Have a good day.